50%?
3.5.
So what's the question you're gonna ask him?
Ask her.
Him?
So Nikki, so you're saying you know about.
What's the question, just straight? Don't say what he said. What's the question? Somebody?
You know what percentage of it is
No, what's the question? Who has the next question?
So if there's
Do
3.5.
you-
What's the question?
Do you know about 3.5 billion parents? Or
That's
do you-
right.
Do you know 3.5 billion parents?
That's right. Do you know about 3.5 billion?
So Nikki, do you know about 3.5 billion people in the world?
No.
No. So when you look at that number.
So
what
see,
percentage would you-
the thing that's happening, you guys, this is the courtroom. It's not with the person. You have to listen to what the kids are saying, because they are leading the course. And they will tell you that if you're listening to them, they'll tell you what the next question is. That was perfect, that you said 7 billion people. That's big and huge. Now, okay, I'm gonna work on that, because you can't even wrap your head around that number. He said 50%? Oh, so do you think you know about 3.5 billion parents? What about and there's no way he could say yes. But if you think the courtroom is in your script, you're gonna be in trouble. The courtroom is in the seats in front of you, and that's what you're listening for. You're not listening to your memory of what should happen. Okay, go.
So Nikki, do you know about 3.5 billion people in the world?
No.
Parents.
No.
Okay. So when you think about that number, what would you say you know? What percentage would that be?
Oh, it'd come down maybe to 20-25%.
Okay, so 25% out of, so let's do some math right here. Because before we had a 50%, so 3.5 billion, now 20% of 3.5 billion, what would that be?
He said that he knows 1.6 billion people that they work.
Yeah.
No,
They're
back
not all
here.
parents.
They're not, none of them are parents. No, not all of them are parents, it's just billion people in the world. So let's, I don't know the exact percentage of how many parents are in the 7 billion people, but, there's a lot of millions, so let's do numbers. So let's just assume for a moment that half of them were parents. Half of the 7 million were parents. Half of the 7 billion were parents. So that would be 3.5. And you're saying, you first said 50%. So that is half are parents, so now we're going
He said 20%, you got him down to 20%, why you
Right,
going
but then
backwards?
someone else said not all of them.
He's down.
I've agreed that I went, oh, what I'm thinking is, doesn't make sense anymore. It's a lot lower. And I was like, oh, 20%.
Right, he was down, why go backwards?
So because he went down that much, it just stayed, leave him
But
there?
you started going backwards. He already had 20.
I wanted to get him lower. That's why I kept working with them, because I wanted to get him lower.
Can you use the room
Use the room
get
to
me
get
lower?
lower.
Okay.
I said they're not all parents.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's irrelevant. That's an irrelevant thought. That they're not all parents is irrelevant to what you're doing. So where can you go right now that you would, because you did something the last time that you can do right now? You're gonna distinguish knowing.
Okay, so when you know something, what can you do?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're 20%. Okay, got it. Now, when you know something, what can you do with that?
So what do you have to do with the word know? I think, yeah.
When you know something, what can you do?
Show that I know it.
You can show that you know that. And when can you show that?
When? Like right now.
Right now? Okay. So something that you know how to do,
Like, I know how to talk, that's why I'm talking right now.
okay, and you're doing it right now, perfect. Somebody else,
I know how to clap.
you know how to clap? Okay, can you demonstrate that? Perfect. And when are you doing it?
Now.
Perfect. One more person, yes.
I know my friend Tavo.
Okay, how do you know him? How can you demonstrate that?
Hi Tavo.
I really don't know her. She's lying. No, high five.
So you know his name is Tavo.
I know my name is Tom.
I don't know that you know him, you know his name
She
is
does
Tavo.
know. She does know.
So you know his name is Tavo. Okay.
Hello.
Can I get something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on.
Come on, hurry.
Go
Go ahead.
You're good.
So when you know something, you can demonstrate that in the present, in the now.
Okay. So you're trying to get him down, this is a whole different strategy from the last time. It's about what, doing the room. So he said, so ask him, Dickie, what's a country other than the United States that you know about?
Peru.
Okay, tell me something that you know about the parents in Peru, that you know,
They feed their kids.
okay? What else do you know?
That they put clothes on their kids.
What else do you know? So can you begin to see that when you think that way, you might know about parents in Peru, but you don't know much. You think you, so that is that, you understand it's a different strategy depending on what's happening in the room. But your job, you wanted him to go lower, right? Okay, so now you just didn't know and knowing about, right?
Well, so you can see that when you know, you can act on it, or you can demonstrate that. Now, do you know, so hold on. When you went to him and I started asking him about parents from another country, so that's for me to demonstrate or distinguish that knowing about and knowing? That's,
Well, you put knowing on the board, so then right after know is knowing
right,
about.
but do I do that before I get to the percentage, or now I'm confused?
You said you wanted him to get lower.
So,
So I don't have an answer, do you do it before or after, because I don't know, I can't tell you how the conversation is gonna go in the room. All I know is you have to make those points.
So, I have a question, so Lisette, if you wanted to get him lower, then you can't write it on the board, cause you're trying to get him to like 10%, but if you're gonna accept 20%, then you could probably put it up there. So it's kind of your call, or you could go either way.
Or you can also go back to somebody else that had maybe like a 35 and say, okay, so now that you've heard what you've heard, what's your number? And then that person gives you more examples and then you go back to them if you want to.
okay. Patty, you were at 30%? This is Vicky.
No, I think I got down to 20%.
And Dickie got down. to
Dicky went down to 20. Okay. Anybody else lower than 20%?
Actually, I think it's lower now after I'm listening to everybody. I think it's lower. I think it's like 5%.
You're at 5%.
I think, yeah.
Now, what would you say you went down to 5%?
Guys, there's just like talking about parents in Peru, like, do they feed their kids? Well, I hope they feed their kids, but I don't know they feed their kids. I mean, I think they put clothes on their kids, but I don't know they put clothes on their kids. I don't know if they feed their kids, I don't know what they feed their kids, I don't know, I don't know if their kids go to school, I don't know, I don't.
Okay, you guys, what is she just distinguishing for us? In Patty speaking, she keeps saying one
So you
word.
keep saying.
What is she
you don't
saying?
know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
No, no. She keeps saying, I think.
I think.
And that's what you're gonna play on. The difference between knowing and thinking about knowing. She keeps saying,
I think
I
they do, but I
think.
don't know. I think they feed their parents, their kids.
I
but
think,
don't know.
but if,
Okay. So you're saying you think they feed their parents, but you really don't know, their kids, but you really don't know. You think they put shoes on their kids, but you really don't know. So how many of you guys can see that many times we think we know about how things are going on, that we think we know about parents, that we think we know about how our teachers are, that we think we know about how I am, but we really don't know. How many of you guys have ever, how many of you guys can identify with that? Great. So, when you look at that number, because there are things that we think, but we really don't know. So the
okay,
little,
for the sake of time, I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna take it from right where you are. So there are things that you know, and then she said there were things that you think you know. Use their words. Now, when you think you know, do you know?
no.
No, you don't know, but you think you know. You think you know, and so is it possible that you may think you know? Like, I remember when I didn't know how to drive, and we had an emergency, and we were on Park Avenue, which is a big zone street, it's 6 lanes, and a stand in the middle. So there's 3 lanes going this way, and there's a stand in the middle, and 3 lanes of cars coming this way. And I didn't know how to drive. However, I would tell my husband when I didn't know how to drive what to do. And I would say, go left or do this or do this. And I figured I knew how to drive. You look in the mirror, you put your foot on the thing, and then you get in the wheel. And we had an emergency. And so he said, can you drive? I have to get out. Can you drive the car to the corner? That's not very far. No, he actually wanted me to go 2 blocks, and he would drive 1 block with me. So I said, sure, I knew how to drive, because I watched people how to drive, and I knew how to talk about it. You put your foot on this thing, you do like this, and you move. I swear to you, he got out the car with changed seats. He said, okay, because he wasn't going to leave me in the car by myself, because I never drove before, so I had to go 2 blocks, and he was going to go 1 block with me. As soon as I got in the car, and it was my turn to drive, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But I thought I knew how to drive. Any of you ever think you know how to do something, and then you discover you don't? Yeah? So when you think about something, do you know?
No.
No. So if this is when we said, so if this is when you know something, you could do it in now, which one of these things do you think, do you know more things? Or do you know, and what we're calling this here is that you know about things. So you have to know about something to think you know. So which one do you think is larger?
Think you know.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things. Now, did you come up with a percentage yet? For neither one of these? Okay, so
We're doing it.
what we're asking is this one. These are things I know. Guess what, people? We're not talking about parents. We're talking about life, particularly your life. You're like 14 years old, 15 years old. Can you imagine how little you know?
What?
Yeah, you're 14 years old, and there's this whole thing about life. And at 14 years old, can you imagine that there's things you have to know at 20 and 25 and 30 and 40 and 60 and 70? Can you imagine how little a 14-year-old knows? Can you imagine that? Patty, can you imagine?
I know more than my family.
Yeah, can you imagine how little you know?
I guess.
Yeah. So I study teenagers and I know that when they say I guess, it means yes. So you can imagine that you may not know a lot, but you may know more about things than you think you know, but you really don't know. So you said that you know more than your family. You know more about what than your family?
Like, they don't know how to read, they don't know how to do math, and none of them do, and I know.
Okay.
Some in chemistry, and I'm.
And is it possible that they know how to do a whole lot of other things you don't know how to do?
Will cook, right?
Yeah, but you can see they know a lot more.
Well, in some areas.
Yeah, so you can see that you think you know more than your family. You said that, but if we really go bit by bit, you're gonna find out as a 14-year-old, you don't even know what it is to deliver a baby. You don't even know what it is to have a job. You don't even know a lot of things, like what it was for them to be a child. You don't know a lot of things, but you think you know a lot.
Well, I'm gonna learn that when I'm older.
Yeah, but today, we're talking about today. So can you see that you know about a lot of things, but you really don't know a lot? Yeah. So you can see that these two numbers, I don't know, for the sake of time, I don't know what the numbers are. But I know about life, we're gonna align. We're gonna agree. So if we say we were down to 20%, 5%, so we're gonna do 12.5. That's in the middle, like the middle of 15, 12.5. Can we agree with that? 12.5, okay, this is a quarter, this is this. So we're gonna say there's 12.5 of things I know. Got that? 12.5 of things that, now, don't do that, Claudette, don't do that. I'm trying not to do the whole thing. Okay, great. So, that's that. If this is called I know I don't know, what do you think this is called? I think I know, but I don't know. What do you think? And we're gonna only use I know and don't know. IK and DK. Those are the only 4 things we're ever going to use in this process. And by the way, this is a senior conversation in the room. This is like one of the hardest conversations. When we did this with the mentors, they took like 3 hours to get this conversation. And I told them when we train them, they're going to watch these young people get this in less than 45 minutes. And I'll tell you why at the end. So this is a hard conversation. So I need all of you to put on your players right now, because this is a conversation that will make a huge difference in your life. That's called enrollment. Enrollment to have you begin to listen, because half of the room is gone right now. Fucking numbers, it's mathematics. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. You got to re-enroll them right now. You got that? So, if we're only using IK and DK, what do you think this is called? The things you know about that you really don't know.
Things I don't know.
These are things you don't know.
I know that I don't know.
These are things you don't know, and you're saying these things I know I don't know. Everybody can see that this is what this is called. When you know about something, when you think you know about something, you're certain you don't know about it. But in order for you to be certain you don't know about it, you have to know that the thing exists. So for
I
example,
know about it.
you know about it, which means you don't know. Because when you know something, you can perform it now. Like I thought, I didn't know that I didn't know how to drive. I thought I knew how to drive, but I couldn't perform it in the now. That's how you knew I didn't know how to drive. So you ever heard of the language? You know, there's French people who speak French. Do you speak French?
I don't.
But you don't know how to speak French.
Yes.
But see, but you know that it exists. So this is everything you know that exists. You know it exists, and you don't. So, Chica, do you know how to make sushi? You ever heard of sushi?
Yeah,
So do you know how to make it?
no.
So you know you don't know how to make sushi, but you know about it. You can even talk about it. You can go, we had sushi.
I didn't have it for lunch.
You had it for lunch, and you could. Now tell me how to make sushi.
You put down a.
You see, she begins to talk about something she doesn't even know what to. She just told me she didn't know how to make sushi, and now she's talking about it as though she knows how to make sushi. Didn't she just tell me she didn't? How many of you talk about a whole lot of things you don't even know? You don't know the facts, but you can talk about it. Politicians, Mr. Trump, sometimes your parents, sometimes you, sometimes your friends, sports. We actually talk about a lot of things. Now, we said this was 12.5%. There's another 87.5% in here of everything there is to know. Now, in this, so there's I know, and then there are things you don't know. Which one do you think is bigger?
Things you know,
No,
they
you
don't
don't.
know.
It's bigger. How much bigger?
Twice as big.
Twice as big, so you're gonna say that's 25%. Anybody else? Because this is 87%, so if she's saying it's 25%, there's something else left over. There's something else left over. There's 61.5%. But if it's so is there, why couldn't this be, who says this is 87.5%? Well, how come it's 87.5%?
Because it's, the 12.5 is I know what I know, and then 87.5 is.
That's very good. That's how most people think. But let me let you see something. This is things you know. And then there are things you're saying you know you don't know, but you still have to know it. Some kind of knowing. Now, I met you last Thursday. Did I exist on Wednesday?
No.
I am 63 years old. I did. So there's another category that's in here. So in that category could be 61.5. So, but can you, now, here's the thing. There, in order for you didn't know that I existed, but did I exist?
Yes.
Okay. Hard question. Think about this question before you answer. Very hard question. Are there more things that exist in life that you don't know about? Or are there more things you know about? Think. think with your mind, visualize of everything there is to know about life all over the place. And then think about what you can talk about. I'm asking you, are there things you don't even know to talk about? Which one do you think is bigger?
Things I don't even know.
The things you don't know. You know, you look like you're beginning to think, this is really good. What we as human beings, this has nothing to do with teenagers, what we as human beings think, if this is 12.5 of everything there is to know, and there's 87, do you know that this is relatively a small amount, yes? This is hardly nothing. And if we really were honest, we would actually say maybe we know 5% or 1%. We don't know about a lot, particularly at 14. You're getting this, you can see that, right? But do you walk around like you don't know, or do you walk around like you know what you're talking about?
I walk around like I know what I'm talking about.
What about you? Do you walk around like there may be things you don't know, or do you walk around like what you're talking about is the truth?
Well, less than him, but I walk like I know.
Yeah, that's because you're Donald Trump and that's Michael Jackson. We only know. But can you see that we only know a tiny little bit about life, but we think it's a lot? We think that the tiny little bit about life that we know is a lot. Even the things we know we don't know about, like, okay, somebody else. You guys really, you're in high school now, so tell me a little bit about the planet Mars and what's like on the planet Mars. Anybody? Yeah?
It's really dry there,
How the hell do you know?
cause I read.
You
it
know
before.
about it. You don't have to curse it. But you know about it, but you don't know. And that's what I'm talking about. We can start talking about a whole lot of crapola that we don't know about. So can you see that you know a tiny little bit? And here's the bad news. You know a tiny little bit about you. You only see a tiny little bit about you.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. You know yourself, and you know what you know about yourself. Anytime somebody was talking to you and they say something and you ever go, you don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they know what you don't know about you.
What's that?
See, you're in this program because there was a way of being that you've been being. Maybe people already know how great you are, and you don't know how great you are. Maybe people already know what's possible for you. So like, I've been watching you, and you are really, really pretty. But I can also tell you don't think you're as smart as you are pretty. You think you're prettier than you're smart. And maybe someone knows how smart you are. So there may be lots and lots of things about you that you don't know. Maybe you don't know the reason you behave this way is because something else is affecting you. Can you see there may be a lot about you that you don't know, that you don't even recognize?
I guess so.
Yeah, I've studied teenagers and I guess means yes. So if this is 12.5, let's align on another number. And so let's go for we know about as much as we know we don't know. We know about is about as much of things that we do know, we know equal number of those things, know about those things. So then we know about 25% of everything there is to know. Still a small number into comparison of 75, yes? And this is I know, I don't know. You guys did good with that hard question. This is the super hard question. Somebody may give me the answer and I won't recognize the answer if it's too early. Some of you think a particular way, but in this course, no one is left behind. Okay, so if this is I know, and this is I know, I don't know, and there are things that existed, and we could only use the words I know, don't. Those are the only words, and we can use in any combination. What is this other 75% called? If this is I know, I don't know, there are things what?
I don't know, I don't know.
What are the some of the, what else could there be?
I know that doesn't exist.
I know it doesn't exist.
I don't
So
know.
hold on,
I don't know anything
I know it doesn't exist. That's too many words, because we only using I know. These are the only word letters we're using. I, D, okay. Doesn't exist is in one of these. So if something that, so you have to make this sound like this, okay? What is in here?
I don't know, I know.
I don't know, I know. So when you didn't know I existed, you didn't know, but did you know?
No, I don't know.
Right. You didn't know I know, but you said you knew. That's like I could have had a V8, but you didn't know. So you didn't know. Okay, so that isn't it. What could it be? So I think for the course I did, we'll have Lizette stop here. Because this is a very senior domain in here. But I'll finish. But even if she gets to the first one, I'll get her to the first one. And then you'll do the second and third. Good? So let's finish this. So what could this possibly be?
Let's just don't,
I
just
don't
don't
know.
know.
Like, I
Just
don't know.
don't know.
So you don't know? I don't know.